you. Oh, good one.
Okay, we're back. Now, do I have a motion to close?
One moment. At this time, I am confirming that to the public that no action by formal vote has been taken by the council during the executive session.
Motion to close?
I move to close the meeting.
Second?
Yes.
Voting, Councilmember Postoli.
Yes.
Councilmember Lester. Yes. Councilmember Bendo.
Yes.
Vice President Treston.
Yes.
President McGinnis.
Yes. Mr. Nate Epstein.
Good evening. I was here 2 weeks ago during the budget meeting, and I watched the council pat itself on the back for raising taxes, raising beach prices, saying they want to cut spending. And, you know, I'll give credit where it's due. Our bond rating is better. We're in a better economic state. But to be honest, I've never been on the beach and had my day ruined by the looming cloud of debt overhead. Okay, but I know that the last council, for all its mistakes, would never try to evict the MLK Center from the North Park. I mean, that just strikes me as horrible, and I just don't understand what it is the council is trying to gain by taking this action. What is the MLK Center takes, I believe it's $27,000 per year of the entire budget. Meanwhile, no other services in town I can think of are expected to meet some kind of financial burden. Why isn't this just a service? Why does this have to be treated like a business? For 30 years, the lease has never been a problem. So why is it a problem with this council? That's it.
Mr. Barrios.
How you doing, Mr. Epstein? So I think as the press releases indicate, this is basically going to be related to what could be pending litigation.
They can't hear you.
This could be related to pending litigation, so I've advised the council not to really speak on any of the matters regarding this, so just wanted to give you a heads up.
I understand. I just wanted to add, the services the MLK Center provides are the types of services that do prevent crime in the long term. We throw a lot of money, we throw 20% of our budget a year at police, and I'm not bashing them, I'm not taking anything away, but these are the kinds of services that save lives as well. And I've been railing for years for centers to help people abusing substances get better and avoid overdoses and things like that. Those are things that could save lives too, and I just don't see the investment, and it's disheartening.
Thank you, Mr. Epstein. Michael Lowry. Please state your name and address. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Michael Lowry. My address is 25 Minnesota Avenue, Long Beach, New York. I'm representing the community regarding the MLK eviction proceedings. I'm just asking the council to measure the financial liabilities and obligations of the MLK Center in the same way it has done good for the community. We should attribute things like the lower crime rate to its presence, youth programs that orient the youth, preventing juvenile delinquency, and preserve a safe future for the generations to come. So considering their financial liabilities, orientation of the youth will actually help stimulate the economy in the long term. Maybe it might take 10 to 20 years to do so, but though it's difficult to financially measure the good the youth center contributes to the community, the liabilities, like usual, just seem a little bit easier to complete.
Thank you, sir. Andrew Bertadati. Good evening, sir.
So my name is Andrew Bertadati. I've been a resident here for my entire life, and I pastor a church in the West End called the People's Church. And the city and the council has always been really amazing to our church and has really always been a great partner and someone who is supportive of us as a center in the community that's doing hard work. And I recognize that the MLK Center situation is a complex situation with different angles. But I know the folks that are at my church, several of them have been really blessed by that center. It's a place that has been a staple in the community for as long as I've been alive. And so my hope is that as complex as it is, that you guys would do what you can to try to make sure that it remains in the community. I recognize that you guys work really hard for us, and I know that you guys have been able to solve a lot of problems in the city and provide a lot of resources. And so I'm just here, speaking on behalf of the folks at my church, just to say that we really value the center and we're hoping that it could stick around and not be evicted. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your comments. John McQuaid. Okay. Eileen Hessian.
Eileen Hessian, Long Beach. First, just very briefly, I had an incident at my house this morning, very small thing that needed the police. I told them it wasn't an emergency. They arrived within minutes and took care of it very politely and nicely, so thank you to that officer who showed up. It was very good. The second thing is, I'm sure everyone on the council has seen this already, but the Long Island Business News has a beautiful article about Long Beach in it, most especially focusing on the women in government. So if you haven't seen it, I have copies. Third, a couple of people from businesses in Long Beach said that the centennial banners that they paid for did not arrive, and the ones on the boardwalk are not there either. Do you know when they will arrive? Business banners?
Mr. McLally, can you please address that?
They are, approximately a third of them are up on the boardwalk at this stage of the game, and she hopes to have all of them rolled out by the end of next week.
Thank you. I saw a couple of, some workers building bathrooms underneath the boardwalk right near the Allegria. Are those showers? Are those bathrooms? They're locked. I'm confused because there are bathrooms right there already. Does anybody know what they are?
Playing the role of Tommy Kenner. The bathrooms were already there. They just built steps down to them so that you don't have to go off the boardwalk ramp. They've been used. They might be making final repairs on.
Okay. Hebrew Academy on Washington Boulevard and Broadway is a disaster still. I guess that the owners are not cleaning up the broken glass, draining the pool. I think it's dangerous for kids. Also on the other corner, catty corner from there, is the Chinese Airlines Hotel, which also is a disgrace, and they are not cleaning up after themselves. So somebody should be doing that. And finally, the twilight passes are very confusing. I know it was on the agenda tonight and for looking at or something, but the beach park is open, so I think we should get that straight with people as to what's going on with that. Thank you. Good night.
Okay.
You don't need the newspaper, do you?
Let me right size this.
My mom went one. Joanna Sofield has been waiting a long time. Thank you for your patience.
I am short, but I do talk loud. Thanks. Hi, everybody. First, I just want to say thank you to the city as a Long Beach Christmas Angel person. The city was very accommodating. Matt Cohart was fantastic. When we were approached by Toys for Tots to receive gifts in Laser LaPena's name, several council members came. Liz, And Tina, thank you very much for being there. John McNally, Commissioner, Joe Brand. It was a tough day. I don't like being in the front of a camera ever. So, but we did it, and we received about 600 gifts, and almost all of them are out, and they all stayed in this community. So it was a good day out of a, unthinkable situation. Now on to personal stuff. So, I love this town. I was related to police officers. My friends are all related to police officers. I have a blue line flag that I hang proudly. We need more cops. So my first question is, I know when yesteryear we had about 70 police officers. How many do we have now?
66, and we're budgeted for 71. The commissioner always can overrule me, but
Okay.
he ingrains this in our head that he's in the process of getting us back to 71, and we have 22 specials, but he had budgeted approximately 35, and he can't get more people to fill those slots.
Okay, well, so we used to have officers on patrol, on bicycles. I saw them. I go out, I like my friends. I come home late. I no longer go use the boardwalk at night. It's a fact, it's my perception. I have had multiple instances up there. Not worthy of making a call to the police, but I'm not comfortable. Something needs to change. There is something called mob mentality and the bystander effect. It's been studied for over a century. It's a problem, and the only thing that fixes that are police officers. It worked for me when I was a kid, making, questionable judgments. Police officers are the best line when you have mob mentality. The statistics in the state are low when it comes to crime. And it's very important that everybody here and there understands why. Kids are no longer prosecuted for crimes. Adults aren't. So when there's an incident with a child that makes a bad decision, it's not reported because it's not recorded because they don't get handled in juvenile court. So the incidences I would bet my life on are up. It is the data, the way we have to report data and the laws that came down from the state that are changing things. But if you ask any adult, any parent, my child is not allowed to go on the boardwalk at night. He's a 17-year-old, 180-pound kid. It's not safe for him anymore. We need more cops and we need more patrols up there. Please support it. And I said thank you, so now I'm past my time. But I also just want to, we have a budget issue. Can we please start impounding the motorcycles that are on the boardwalk? Just take them and find them because they're not safe either.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Commissioner Walsh, would you like to respond, please?
So, the thing that jumps out in my mind first off is the statistics being skewed in some way. The charge, let's take for example the situation that just happened on the boardwalk where you have two 17-year-olds that are fighting. The crime, if it's an assault and someone's hurt, the crime still counts as an incident. The arrest can't charge a juvenile with a crime. So statistically, they're correct, unless people aren't calling the police. So I always encourage everybody, even if you've handled something yourself, no matter what it is, if there's an incident that takes place, if we don't know, it didn't happen, because we don't know. So whenever anything happens anywhere, on the boardwalk, wherever it is, we want to know. So call the police. Somebody was harassing you on the boardwalk, you got out of the situation, call the police. Let us know so we can get down there and address the situation. That's something that seems to be endemic in a lot of places. There are a couple other things that you mentioned. Thank you for the support for the police department and for the larger force. Right now, we're trying to get to 71. We're working our way up to that number. It's going to be a few more months before we can get there, but we'll get there. Council President Treston brought up the fact that we have 22 summer specials. I want 35. I
Although
can't
it's
get
like-
them. We just can't get people to work. We're paying $15 an hour, guarantee you at least 40 hours a week. It's a terrific experience. If you go look at the law enforcement, we can't get them. So if any of you out there know of anybody who is over 18 years old, 19, 20 years old, looking for a summertime job, we have positions available. We'll interview you. We'll get you on board very quickly. We could use the help. I just did some reach out. We probably have 3 more that are probably coming that I attracted from a place in the county. As far as the safety up on the boardwalk, the more I know, the better we can police it. So tonight, first thing, the tour that turned out at 6 o'clock, one car went right up on the boardwalk. We don't and will not take a car and put it up on the boardwalk when it's packed with bicyclists and pedestrians. It's not smart. It's not practical. Every night this week and from now on for the rest of the summer, you will see, weather permitting, there's no reason to put a police officer up on the boardwalk when it's pouring rain out, ATVs. Last night, our ATV officer was supposed to come in at 6, supposed to come in at 8, couldn't make it, got in at 10, started at 10 o'clock, was on the boardwalk till 1 o'clock in the morning. Tonight, we called, it's overtime, right? We called in someone for overtime at the beginning of their tour to do ATV patrols up on the beach. You will start to see that every day. We've already started the bicycle patrols. Bicycle patrols started 2 weeks ago. We primarily focused our bicycle patrols in the West End because that's where they're most effective and that's where it gets off the hook on Friday nights and Saturday nights. It's just a little nutty down in the West End. The more cops I can put out, the more violations we would get. It seems to be down there. We're doing the best that we can to try and control that. We will be putting specials on bicycles this year up on the boardwalk, and we're putting the smart car up on the boardwalk as well because it's small. For specials to drive back and forth to increase our presence. So we're stretching what we have as much as we can. We're authorizing overtime to make sure there's police officers, and hopefully you'll feel more comfortable and see a difference in that very shortly.
Can I just clarify one thing?
Sure.
When I say police officers,
Yeah.
I actually mean police officers.
Mm-hmm.
Specials are a great tool
Mm-hmm.
during the day, but part of the problem is probably that young kids might not be safe up there without being an official when you're dealing with some mob mentality.
So I will.
My request to the city council is to support
Right.
police
Yes.
enforcement.
Yeah.
numbers.
I thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yes, I do agree with you. Yeah. It's a mixture. I will be flat out about that. I don't believe you need to have a police officer every 2 blocks on the boardwalk. I don't think you were in that condition. It doesn't warrant that. I also would like to actually be pretty clear that the more specials we have, it suppresses things. It's more eyes out there. At nighttime is when the police officers are out there and the specials come in. So, and we are increasing police officer presence there as well. So.
Well, yeah, the Commissioner, you've made some really clear recommendations to the council this evening, which we will take under serious consideration.
Thank you.
Okay. Mike Axelson.
Yeah, my name is Mike Axelson, and since the last time I was here, Mr. Berrios has offered to give me a refund on my booting fee, because I showed him that it was against the law to boot someone and collect a fee when they're not guilty of anything. There was no conviction. And if you'd like a copy of that law, I have it for everyone here too, if they want it. What I want to know is what's going on to help other people that were in the same situation of not having previous tickets and getting a boot put on their car and having to pay this ridiculous fee. I mean, I got mine back, but I'm worried about everyone else that didn't do anything but illegally parked one time. That's all. I know Mr. Lesser said that they should or could revisit the ordinance. I want to know if you really are considering that. Is there a motion to do that?
Mr. Axelson, last I recall, we had a discussion. I think you're in contact with one of my colleagues in the office. To the extent you can resolve that, that's great. We've had internal conversations, Commissioner Walsh and I think you can speak a little bit to some of your concerns.
Yeah, they can't hear you.
Commissioner Walsh can speak a little bit to some of the concerns you had.
So I want to thank Mr. Axelson, first off, for pointing out a portion of the vehicle and traffic law, which is 4,000 pages long, of something that we were not aware of. So thank you for that, and we were able to actually process your fund. In your exact situation, your refund, in your exact situation, the judge actually found you not guilty. The majority of what happens out there, people are guilty.
Commissioner, I think it was dismissed. He wasn't found not guilty.
Well,
It
that's
was
right,
just
I'm sorry, dismissed. Dismissed, not that you found not guilty, you was dismissed, thank you, my mistake. So a dismissal or a not guilty relieves you of paying any administrative fee. A guilty with a zero penalty by the court does not dismiss that. And most people are found guilty because they were parked there, and in the interest of justice, when they provide the plaque like you did, they don't fine you for that. But the actual ordinance, the vehicle traffic law sections 1807, I think it was, that you referred to, 1804, says that if you're not found guilty or if it's dismissed. So if you're found guilty with no fine, you still have to pay those administrative fees.
Okay.
I think we're just going to have to kind of agree to disagree on that. It's the letter of the law. In actuality, the particular ordinance that you the law that you're talking about was because a New York City, I believe it was a New York City councilman, wound up getting himself a ticket and got it dismissed and had to pay the surcharge, and he enacted that, had that run through the legislature because he didn't think it was fair either. But they specifically wrote it for people who are found guilty, that you still have to pay the administrative fees.
Well, I'm still opposed to having a boot put on your car for one ticket, no outstanding tickets, violations, warrants.
So after this passed this evening, which is the towing ordinance, we're going to be, we're not really, within the next week, you're going to see that cars that are in handicapped spots will not be booted anymore. They're going to be towed.
Okay.
Immediately, yeah.
Yep.
Okay? That'll be the change.
That concludes our meeting for tonight. I want to thank you, everyone, for hanging in there. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Gonna give autographs for your first show. Don't miss out on the bread.